This date in 1986, Alan J. Lerner died of lung cancer in New York. Among his musicals, and My Fair Lady.
I could have danced all night.
I'm Brandon Brooks, and that's Rewind.
Is your summer staffing situation significantly scarce? Then you need Indeed. Their powerful all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credits.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. They serve members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE, serving to make life better since 1936. James Price joining us in studio today from the Better Business Bureau. And summertime, enjoying summertime so far?
Yeah, so far so good. We hasn't gotten blistering hot yet.
No, that's true. But, you know, July, August, we have really hot Septembers and Octobers too sometimes, so.
Right. We're just getting warmed up.
Yes, indeed. So I had someone talk to me about, you know, they enjoy hearing you on the air talking about the different scams and things of that nature. It kind of keeps them up to date on those things. But they were really confused about what it is that the Better Business Bureau does in terms not just consumer alerts, but also you work with businesses. I mean, you're multifaceted in what the BBB is all about, and I think they were surprised to hear that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, so first, you know, BBB is a nonprofit, and so, you know, we're looking out for businesses and consumers. I mean, our vision is to create an ethical marketplace where buyers and sellers trust each other, and that's the vision of BBB overall. So we don't just cater to the businesses. We don't just cater to the consumers. I mean, we stay in the middle, you know, on both sides. You know, from the old adage of, you know, the customer's always right. From the customer standpoint, they want to be always right. But from the business standpoint, it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not always right. I mean, if you were always right, why did you hire a professional to come in here and tell you, you know, to give you some advice on what it is that you need done? But on the other hand, too, you know, some businesses will try to take advantage of people when it comes to, do they really know what's going on? And so BBB, what we try to do is make sure that, you know, we're educating the consumer, and we're totally supporting the businesses, you know. And we want to support small business, large business. We encourage people to buy local. You know, that's what kind of makes our whole local economy work. You know, if you buy local, which kind of brings us to contracting. You know, this thing, contracting with confidence. This is National Home Ownership Month, and some of the biggest things people look for on BBB, they go to gobbb.org, and what they do is you can go in there and you can say, hey, I'm looking for a roofer or a paver or some kind of contractor, and we'll tell you, you know, we'll show you the ratings of these companies, if they have any complaints. I mean, if a company has a B or less, you should look into why they have a B or less. We provide some of that verbiage in there. The complaints and the reviews and that kind of thing. So with June being home ownership month, you know, home ownership takes a lot of dedication and patience, and you want to keep up your investment, and, you know, you've spent a lot of money getting into it in the first place.
Sure.
I mean, the median price of a home across the U.S. right now is about $319,000. In Murfreesboro, it's probably higher than that.
Probably at least 350 to 400, somewhere in that range.
At least, yeah. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that come into, you know, maintaining a home, and, you know, there's a lot of things that come up that most homeowners just they can't tackle, or they don't want to tackle, or I mean, I had some work recently done on my house, and it was on the roof, and I just said, I'm just going to hire somebody. I don't want to get up on the roof and then fall off. And the newspapers say, a man falls off a roof, and so so I brought somebody in to do that work for me. But it really doesn't take long after you get into a home before you realize, I got some projects here I need to do. I need to get set up. So what we're going to talk about today is how do you avoid home improvement scams. And of course, home ownership is going to be one of the biggest investments people ever make. And you really have to exercise caution and get in contracting for home ownership services and that kind of thing. So, across the U.S., more than $1 million were lost to home improvement scams, just using the BBB tracker, with a median loss of about $1,000 per report.
Wow.
And scammers, they often impersonate or well-known companies or established companies in the area, and I see this quite a bit. And after receiving initial payment, sometimes they just disappear. Even after they begin the project, then you start getting desperate to get communication with the company. They don't answer the phone. You try to contact the home office or corporate and local offices, only to know that the person who sold the job is not an employee, and it just kind of goes round and round. So, and I've seen examples of this as early as this month, where people have contacted somebody to get a job done and then took a down payment and disappeared, and they're just out the money. So home improvement scams, they often start with an unsolicited offer, either door-to-door or by social media or text or web. Not all door-to-door solicitors are scammers, but we do recommend carefully evaluating any contractor or utilizing that method to provide service, especially after a storm, because we have those things called storm chasers. And they just come out and they say, oh yeah, you need your roof done, we can get your insurance to cover this, your down payment's going to be $3,000, give us half of that right now and we can get it started for you. We'll contact your insurance company, people write the checks, and that's the last they see of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing too is, like, if you write a check to a company like that, sometimes they'll say, we'll be back to you in a couple weeks. Okay, well, that's another red flag, because they need time for your check to clear before they totally disappear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, and some businesses may need, even more insurance to cover some of the damages of your home. I mean, you got to look at, will they use the right quality materials? Will they last? Do they have the proper licensing to conduct the repair or the renovation work in your area? And especially where contractors who claim to have been working in the area and have leftover material that they can use to complete your project at a discount. That's the biggest red flag I've seen out there. I have some extra stuff right here. I can.
Yeah. Especially, that happened to me several months ago during the winter, when somebody came by and wanted to do paving in my back area. I have just enough to do this for you, left over from a job. Yeah. No thanks.
No, I'm not interested. Pavers are the worst at that.
Yeah.
They have this extra. Well, the fact that you didn't plan your job correctly kind of worries me in the first place, because if you have leftover from this job, how much do you really have enough really to do this job? And if so, it's a whole mess. So let's talk about some tips for both new and seasoned homeowners to help them contract with confidence. First thing is, always go to gobbb.org. Receive at least 3 quotes from BBB. And we strongly recommend that homeowners look into contract services for any work received with at least 3 quotes and from separate businesses before settling on a final decision. Keep in mind that there's some companies out there where they operate 2 and 3 companies under different names, and you're really getting the same quote from the same company 3 different times.
3 different times, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to kind of watch that. Receiving multiple quotes gives homeowners, a solid understanding of the pricing and services, and it contributes to the ability to converse with their chosen contractor about the price. Homeowners who take the time to interview multiple companies before deciding who to contract with can be more confident that they're not overpaying for services. So, you go in there and, I'm going to say, when you go to gobbb.org and you look up the company, if you see an accredited company, you actually knock out a whole bunch of these really quick, because in order for a company to be accredited, they have to be properly licensed, or we won't accredit them. I've been talking with a few companies here locally lately who have talked about, hey, yeah, we want to get on board BBB. And I said, okay, well, do you have your electrical license? Well, no. I mean, you might do a great job, and you might be on the up and up, but without your license, we can't accredit you. Mm-hmm. And that's for the protection of the consumer as well. So we look into making sure that all that stuff's there right, so you can kind of breathe easier a little bit once you get a business that's accredited. Second thing is never pay the total project cost up front. You just should not do that at all. Even if the contractor offers a significant discount, well, okay, well, you don't have to pay me the whole thing. Just give me half of it. Okay, well, you're still losing half your money if they disappear.
Yeah, or even that example you gave a minute ago of $3,000 down payment, $1,500 then.
Right.
And yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So we recommend staggering payments throughout the length of the project. Staggering payments allows the homeowner to inspect the work at specific milestones, ensuring the work's being completed to their satisfaction before releasing the next payment installment. And I will say that some small companies they may need some of that money up front to get going, and especially new companies locally. I mean, they're really trying to make a mark. And there's other companies, and then there's some around town here where they may ask you for the money up front, and you just go, well, I'm not real comfortable with that. And I've seen these companies go, you know what? Don't pay me up front. You can just pay me at the end. And the contractors know that they have leverage on you too, because they can always put a lien on your home.
Yeah.
If you don't pay them. So it kind of works both ways. Homeowners should avoid contractors practicing aggressive tactics or insisting on receiving full payment before beginning the project, and most deposits should range between 10 and 30% of the total project cost. Some contractors may require a more significant down payment due to the price of materials or communicated issues. Still, homeowners should avoid contractors that ask for more than half the project up front. So just look at that. The bottom line here is that you want to make sure you're going to get what you're paying for with your money.
Yeah, we've got about a minute and a half here, and kind of looking at contracting with confidence. Any other tips you want to pass along real quick?
Just to understand the licensing requirements, know what licenses they need to have, especially if you're dealing with somebody outside BBB, because we're going to make sure that they do have the license. And always be wary of too good to be true deals. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So watch out for those kind of things. For more information, you can go to gobbb.org. A couple scams I want to pass along here to people out there right now is I get scams on my phone all the time, just like you do. Some of the big ones I'm seeing lately is the utility scam, where they call up and they say, hey, you've been overpaying your utility bill. Oh. You have money coming back. And I say, okay. Then they'll start asking for information. One of the things they ask for is your address. And they go, and I stop them right there and I go, well, if you're going to be refunding me my utility bill overpayments, you should already know my address.
Exactly.
And they hang up. And then the other thing too is, like, you get these calls now, senior care, Medicare, Medicaid, and they're using this AI technology where it really sounds like a real person. And so what I'll tell you to do is, like, if you got on there and you're not sure that the call's real or not, ask them a offbeat question. Like, they say, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And you could say something like, well, I could be interested. Do you want to go to lunch? And then you'll get some answer that says, oh, well, I'm glad you're interested. And so although the voice sounds real, they're not answering the direct question.
Of course, yeah.
So that's one way to tell these. But some of them are getting really, really good at making it sound like you're actually talking to somebody. And with this AI technology out there and it's getting more advanced, you really got to watch out for it.
Yeah, got to be very careful of all that. And I'm seeing a lot on text myself too. Just texting questions and just be very wary of all that stuff. And Scam Tracker, a great place to see what's going on right here in Rutherford County. Just put in your zip code. James, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.
James Price of the Better Business Bureau joining us today. And don't forget, if you missed part of the program, you can check the podcast at WGNSradio.com. Just look under podcast and Rutherford Issues, or choose to listen wherever you listen in to audio.
Hello, this is Lenny Farmer with Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home. Often when a man or